With the Wall of Death bike built and the record broken, I could spend more time training for the Tour Divide. I didn't know what I was letting myself in for. I knew it was 2,745 miles, alone and unsupported, only relying on what I could carry on my bike or my back. I knew it involved the equivalent of cycling up 7 Mount Everests. I knew that the people who set quick times were sleeping rough for 4 hours or less a day. But the only way you know if you can finish something like the Tour Divide is to try to do it. I wanted to get a feel for what it might be like, so I planned a training ride with Jason Miles. We called it the Coast to Coast to Coast. The idea was to ride from one coast of England to the far side of Scotland, get the ferry to Northern Ireland, then ride from the bottom to the top. We would treat it like I'd treat the Tour Divide. Ride a bloody long way, sleep for a bit, ride some more. Not only did we want to leave the East Coast and ride west, we also wanted to ride as many trail centres as we could do, and do the same in Ireland. Trail centres are purpose-built mountain bike tracks that are dotted around the countryside. Some have nothing but a car park at the start and one or more signposted and maintained tracks through the woods to follow. Others have cafes and bike shops and even elevated trail sections made from wood. I chose Berwick-upon-Tweed, right on the Scottish border, as our start point. We would meet there late on the night of Wednesday the 13th of April. With the Tour Divide filling my head, I came up with another idea. Any spare time I had, I wanted to spend riding, so any way I could lengthen the ride I thought was a good idea. I worked late on Tuesday night, getting everything finished at the truck yard, and instead of driving up to Berwick, I reckoned I'd ride there to meet Jason. So at 8 on Wednesday morning, I left home on the Salsa Fargo I planned to ride in the Tour Divide. This wasn't the first long ride I'd done in 2016. In January, I set off from home, rode to the north of Scotland, and once I got there, had a night in a hotel before taking part in the Strathpuffer 24-hour mountain bike race, which I'd done a few times before. It was cold and hard, dark and wet for most of the time, but what did I expect? It was January, in Scotland. I rode on my Rourke single speed, so only one gear, meaning I had to slog up the hills in a gear higher than you might normally use. I'd ridden up through England on my own, but then 50 miles south of Edinburgh, I met Alan, who, along with the Dungate brothers, I'd done a lot of biking with for years. We rode together from there to Strathpeffer, a village in the Highlands north of Inverness where the event is held. On the way up, the chain had totally dried out and was graunching like hell because of all the shit and blather. Alan had an idea to get some butter from a cafe to lubricate it. The ride to the Strathpuffer was another thing I'd set my mind to do, and it hadn't broken me, even though it was only a few months after the operation to bolt my spine together. The weather wouldn't be as bad on the coast to coast to coast, but the mileage would be higher. Leaving Grimsby, I didn't use a map. I was just riding off the compass on the Garmin, heading north. As long as I kept going that way, I'd work it out. I rode over the Humber Bridge into Yorkshire, staying on small roads from then on. From Malton, I knew a few back roads, and I knew that when I got to Northallerton, I wanted to be heading more northeast, and then a bit northwest. Last time I rode up this way to the Strathpuffer, I went a bit further west. So this time I stuck east and headed towards the North York Moors. I got to the top side of Malton and followed true north on goat tracks. 5 miles in, I was wondering if I'd done the right thing. It was a proper dirt track, which was all right, because I was on a mountain bike, a bit of an oddball-looking mountain bike, but built to cope with it. The bike was loaded up with sleeping bag, roll mats, inner tubes, chain, spare set of clothes, and toothbrush. I didn't know where the trail would end, but I knew it wouldn't be a dead end. You never reach a dead end on a mountain bike because one dirt track always leads to another.